Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Three.
Their day started singing in unison and ended there as a group releasing balloons. Tonight, the powerful story of resilient children. Good evening again. Quite the sight today at Bell Central School. Students banding together in the face of adversity. Hard lessons learned in the halls and outside the school walls where their 3 classmates once walked with them. A fire this week killed Beulah Mullins and her grandchildren, Sierra, Cynthia, and Sean Posey. There's an outpouring of support from Bell County as friends and teachers honor their lives. Tonight, WYMT's Connor James begins our coverage with that part of the story.
Wednesday morning, Amazing Grace echoed through the halls of Bell Central.
I mean, they may not have had a lot of extra things in life, but they did have love for each other.
The song welcomed in students and staff, many of them carrying around the weight of loss.
It's just sad.
Their singing happening only feet away from a memorial eternalizing their 3 classmates whose lives were lost in a fire Tuesday.
She was always so friendly, had such a compassionate heart.
Kayla Johnson is Sierra Posey's teacher.
I don't think I ever heard her say a negative word to anybody. I mean, she truly was just as sweet and just a humble child.
Sierra was the big sister, Cynthia a year younger, and Sean 8 years old. Lisa Johnson taught them all.
At one point in time, but Sean was in my homeroom.
All 3 left a lasting impression here.
They were all, not just Sean, the girls always had a smile. They bounced down the hallway. They were just happy kids.
Their death leaves a space in many hearts that'll remain empty.
But they were good kids. Little rays of sunshine. They were little rays of sunshine.
But the reminder of the lights they were will keep that same empty space lit. In Bell County, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
So often we find ourselves wondering why we lose loved ones, especially in situations like this. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "It is not length of life that matters, but the depth of life." WYMT's Emily Bennett shows us just another way the community is sorting through all this together. Emily?
Steve, the balloon release was truly a touching moment. Cynthia, Sierra, and Sean, the kids, they released their balloons and shouted, "We will miss you," as their balloons sailed into the sky. Principal Blankenship said yesterday the school was full of shock, numbness, and heartbreak. And while that heartbreak is still there, she says the atmosphere today was full of togetherness. She said they want to do the balloon release to help the kids process and heal.
This was a chance for our kids to do something that they could release a balloon, they could say a prayer, they could say a little sweet memory that they had of our students, and they could release those up to the heavens to their friend and their classmates.
Now, I definitely teared up during that balloon release, but the funeral arrangements have not yet been made. But Bell Central is collecting money to help cover the cost of the funerals. They are working hand in hand with the children's mother. I will have more on how you can help coming up at 11. I'm live in Bell County. Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News.
All right, Emily, thank you. A federal jury convicted a Knox County man Tuesday for his role in a meth case. Charles Warfield purchased and distributed methamphetamine in Laurel and Knox counties. Warfield and a co-conspirator traveled to Louisville and brought back 14 ounces of methamphetamine for distribution. He also attempted to trade a handgun for meth. Warfield faces up to 40 years in prison and a $5 million fine on the meth conviction, and 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine on a firearm conviction.
And we saw nothing but sunshine here in the mountains. It was a little bit on the chilly side today, but don't worry, we're going to see those warmer temperatures over the next few days. Let's go ahead and take you to a few of those cameras. National Weather Service camera in Jackson, nothing but sunshine and a gorgeous sunset as you're seeing those yellows and those oranges popping up. Looking over into Interstate 75, a quiet night over there. You're seeing those clear skies as well. Enjoy the quietness while you can, because it's going to get a little bit messy, especially by the time we get into the weekend. Looking at those temperatures now, low to mid 40s. So like I said, a little bit on the chilly side, and we'll continue to see those temperatures drop tonight, especially with those clear skies. But as we head into tomorrow, those temperatures going to get a lot warmer. Then those clouds start to increase. That continues even as we head into your Friday, and that's because our next system moves back into the mountains a little bit later Friday, and especially by the time we get into your Saturday. Now we'll break down that rainy system coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Paige, thank you. President Trump says Iran appears to be standing down. That's after a missile attack on 2 bases in Iraq where American troops are stationed. The president says no soldiers were killed in that attack. Defense officials tell CBS News intelligence gave troops hours of warning to shelter in bunkers. In his first address since Iran's retaliation, the president said the U.S. would try to calm tensions with Iran, but he also announced economic sanctions against the country. And the president is also calling on ally countries to help negotiate a new nuclear deal with Iran.
The time has come for the United Kingdom, Germany, France, Russia, and China to recognize this reality. They must now break away from the remnants of the Iran deal, or JCPOA. And we must all work together toward making a deal with Iran that makes the world a safer and more peaceful place. We must also make it...
Tomorrow, the House is expected to vote on a war powers resolution that would limit the president's ability to use military force in Iran. Now, Senator Rand Paul tweeted about a conversation he shared with the president today. The senator said, quote, "The president shares my thoughts that the last thing we need is another ground war. He does not want endless wars. I continue to hope for de-escalation and diplomacy." The Kentucky National Guard is standing by in case it's needed overseas. The Guard told us today it has not received any new orders. Still, the Guard says it's ready to support any mission it's given and that the troops remain vigilant. We now know a trial date in a high-profile Leslie County murder case. Police say in December 2018, Paul Douglas Sizemore killed 3 people and attempted to kill another man. They captured him following several days of searching. His trial date is set for February 7th. Also in Leslie County, new information about a deadly crash in 2017. Alyssa Noble faces murder, assault, and DUI charges. Paige Hayes died in that crash when the car Noble was driving hit her. Today, during today's hearing, a state trooper testified about how fast Noble might have been going. WYMT's Lacey Roberts shares some of that testimony.
They say time heals all wounds.
I don't know when that time's coming.
Louise Johnson, Paige Hayes' mother, has not been the same since her death. This being the first time she's felt hope.
I feel good. At least we're not sitting and just waiting, because waiting will drive you crazy.
Wednesday, Martin Hunter, a lieutenant with Kentucky State Police, testified to the speed of Alyssa Noble's vehicle.
We respond to scenes, look at tire marks, skid marks, gouges, look at the vehicles themselves, look at the operators, the roadways.
Hunter, in charge of training for crash reconstruction for all troopers in Kentucky, coordinates cases throughout the state to ensure they are complete.
Detective Caldwell and I discussed how to determine speed through the video, measure a distance, and time, how much time it takes a vehicle, a person, or an object to travel the distance. Do some very basic math.
From this, they came up with the average speed traveled.
Told him how to check himself by driving a cruiser through the same camera, use stopwatches, time it, use the same method that we use to determine speed from Noble.
Which they say produced the slowest average speed at 40 miles per hour and the highest average speed at 47 miles per hour.
If you fly down the street that's 25 miles an hour, something bad's going to happen.
But today is not a bad day, but a step in the right direction.
I'm glad that we've got another court date set. We had one set last year and it didn't go through.
Noble is set to appear in court July 21st. In Leslie County, Lacey Roberts, WYMT Mountain News.
Paige Hayes' parents say this was the worst holiday season they've had since Paige's death. Noble's hearing is expected to begin in July. A resort on Lake Cumberland is making progress after a fire destroyed part of it. Conley Bottom Resort posted these pictures. Well, this is video of the actual fire. Now, you may remember it damaged a store, cafe, and part of the dock last May. It happened right before Memorial Day weekend. The resort plans to have all repairs complete by this summer. The Pike County Fiscal Courtroom was packed with community members last night as a Second Amendment sanctuary resolution was signed. That resolution, one of several that has been approved across the region recently, is a show of support from the county telling its citizens the local government supports the Second Amendment. Judge Executive Ray Jones heads a court full of Democrats but says this issue is not about party lines.
Most of us here grew up with guns. A lot of us have veterans in our families. And, the rights of law-abiding citizens should not be jeopardized or infringed because criminals commit crimes.
More than 1,000 Pike Countyans signed an online petition supporting the resolution. Jones says he has never seen as many people in the courtroom as he saw last night.
And those rain chances look to increase not until a little bit later Friday and into your Saturday as our next system moves in. We'll break down that next system coming up in just a little bit.
But first, last week, Tyler Childers caught our attention when he helped clean up following his concert. Now his stop at a local animal shelter is having another ripple effect.